video, we will explain various exercise recommendations that will help enhance independent walking and overall motor development. According to Jane Clark, motor development is the change in motor behavior over the lifespan and the processes that underlie this change. This video is designed for people who are expecting a baby and/or parents of an infant who has not surpassed the milestone of independent walking. The exercises that will be described are ideal for children in the reflexive period, which occurs from the 3rd gestational period to the 2nd week of infancy, or when the baby starts making voluntary movements. The pre-adapted period occurs after the reflexive period and is ended when the child self-feeds and walks independently.
According to Thelen, these constraints can be related to posture and locomotion. Infants already experience natural organismal constraints because of their small size and disproportional bodies.
The exercises we will show in this video can help with overcoming constraints. These movements are beneficial to the quality of later movements in infants and can speed up the infant's progression from one motor ability to the next, from rolling to crawling to independent walking.
Actively exercising your child increases their ability to function more rapidly and develop. For instance, a study by Blauw-Hospers and Hadders-Algra overviewed infants of preterm and full-term births related to their walking ages. They found that interventions used to improve motor development have a positive effect on their motor outcome.
If these exercises are not performed, reflexes may be suppressed and the child's motor development could be inhibited or delayed.
This exercise should be practiced during the first 5 months after birth. The stepping reflex is a locomotor reflex that mimics walking. To practice this reflex, you hold the baby upright and place the infant on a flat surface. The expected response is for the child to begin a walking pattern with their legs.
A child this young typically lacks the motor skills to fully support himself or walk with adult-like skill. A study completed by Fisher, Ridley-Johnson, and Thelen practiced this reflex on land with weight bearing on the legs, as well as in water, which relieves the amount of pressure and eases the ability for the child to complete the reflex.
This may be beneficial if the child appears to be struggling early on with the stepping reflex. A progressive approach of practicing the water method and working up to the weight-bearing portions may help them develop this reflex. Another study by Yang, Stevens, and Bishram analyzes the walking patterns of infants from 10 days to 10 months old and concluded that the stepping reflex is developed at birth and practice can result in better control of movement. Supporting the principle that actively working with infants, especially with the stepping reflex, will be beneficial to the quality of later movements.
Another exercise that is good for developing core strength, which is essential for walking, is tummy time.
Tummy time is when a child is sleeping or has playtime on their belly, also known as the prone position. By having infants practice tummy time for more than 15 minutes per day, it can help improve neck and core strength as well as postural control.
A study done by Majnemer and Barr was done to test the influence of supine position or laying on their back and the effect on the early motor development milestones, such as rolling, tripod sitting, creeping, crawling, and pull to standing.
This study found that the scores of gross motor skills were higher for infants who slept and played in the prone position, whereas lack of tummy time can result in delayed motor development by 6 months, specifically independent walking.
By working on core and neck strength along with building postural control during tummy time, the child should benefit in future motor development.
A third exercise to enhance the progression of walking is to practice the tonic labyrinthine reflex. This is a primitive reflex which is strongly exhibited by newborns at birth. It tends to lose its strength as babies start to act voluntarily. Its onset is around 37 weeks of gestation, and this reflex should be present up until about 6 months. The exercise can be done in the prone tonic labyrinthine reflex.
You can hold the baby on its stomach. As the head bends forward, the whole body, arms, legs, and torso curl inward in the fetal position. As the head is bent backwards, the whole body, arms, legs, and torso straighten and extend.
The TLR is the basis for head management and helps prepare an infant for rolling over, crawling, standing, and finally walking. If retained, the TLR could lead to poor muscle tone and tendency to walk on toes, poor balance, and other developmental delays. Therefore, practicing these TLR exercises with your infant up to about 6 months of age or until it is suppressed can enhance the progression of the development and help with the ability to walk.
Being aware of these reflexes and exercise can be helpful in understanding how to minimize delays and enhance the progression of your child's development, especially independent walking.
Your active involvement in practicing the stepping reflex, tummy time, and the tonic labyrinthine reflex with your infant positively affects development across the lifespan.